too sick to report to work. But today he was well enough for a challenge match of jumbo tennis. He lost the challenge, and the National Mutual Insurance will have to give the Asthma Foundation an extra $50 for today's effort. But the big question now, what was Paul's excuse for yesterday's sickie?
Once I was safely on board the Qantas Jumbo, I realised it was time to drop the mask and get down to the serious business of enjoying myself. Who needed excuses? I mean, would you believe me if I said I was taking the day off to fly around Queensland in a jet with 450 other malingerers? Once we left the Gold Coast, we started heading across state over Longreach towards Mount Isa. And I'm not telling tales, but the cause of our downfall was Radio 4IP's madcap McGirvan.
How are you feeling, Mr. McGirvan?
I'm not well, Mercy.
Well, we'll have to spoon food you.
Spoon food me? Oh.
Spoon feed.
We're only halfway through the flight.
One vital statistic, the hypochondriacs put away as much beer in the first 2 hours as a regular flight from Sydney to London and back. The tip of Cape York Peninsula and Thursday Island were breathtaking, as was the low-level flight down the Barrier Reef. It certainly beats working any day. Well, just before we left Brisbane about 7 hours ago, we were given this ultimate sickie bag, and inside was some Alka-Seltzer, very thoughtful. Could do with some of that right now, and then for tomorrow we'll have to go back to work, which is today, but it doesn't really matter. This Band-Aid for when I'm really hurting. Paul Bongiorno, somewhere over Queensland for Channel O Eyewitness News. You forgive me, Des?
Fully loaded jumbo jet left Brisbane for a non-stop tour of Queensland. It was the brainchild of Brisbane radio station 4IP and carried with it one of the biggest groups of sightseers, sickie sightseers, ever to see the state in one round trip. Jim Devine joined the flight to see what really goes on at 30,000 feet.
Well, I've done some fairly strange things in my time, but this has got to be one of the most unusual. In just a few minutes' time, me, along with some 400 other people, will be boarding that aircraft with Alan McGirvan from 4IP and spending the next 6 to 7 hours in the air flying all around Queensland. Now, Alan has entitled it in his own inimitable style the ultimate sickie, and every one of those 400 people here today will have to have a note from the doctor to cover for them while they're taking this sickie.
How are you feeling?
Fine.
You look like you haven't had a good meal for a while.
Thanks so much.
Fine.
Thank you.
Well, I'll show you. Do you remember where to sit?
No, I don't actually.
It's up the front, just near the windscreen. Right up the very front.
Oh, we'll see what we can do. I've got a seat. I don't know about you.
I
hope you're feeling all right this morning, Doctor.
I hope you remember what Thursday Island looks like.
Yes, it was explained to me yesterday by our dear friend up north.
We rang Thursday Island yesterday, and he explained to Ken that it's small.
It's got water all around it.
Water all around it.
It's got green trees.
The green trees.
So we hope we found it.
You know, Jim, I don't think this has ever happened anywhere in the world. You know, a sickie per se. The concept is, of course, that most of the people on board are self-employed or are on holidays or aren't working, and someone's bought them the tickets. And genuinely, a lot of people did bring a note from their boss. It was terrific. I don't think anyone's ever done it. Qantas said that they've never had a charter quite like this. We've filled the airplane. There wasn't an empty seat. 460 people in this jumbo.
And the people were paying $180 a time, so they obviously considered that they should go and see their own state as well.
Yeah, because, you know, Queenslanders are like, you know, we love the state. This is unique. Queensland is the future of Australia. I believe it is. And there's a lot of very happy people on board. We're just passing over Kansas. I'm talking to you. We've just been talking. I was in the cockpit talking to an aircraft of the Royal Flying Doctor Service, and we've managed to get $5,000, just over $5,000 as our share for the Queensland Royal Flying Doctor Service, which is all, and Northern Territory as well. Yeah. So that's great news.
And I think that the...
I think he's going to have a heart attack.
Well, I could have a heart attack.
Another one bites the dust.
This is the best day of my life here. Is it? Definitely.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, now did you have to go and explain to your boss?
I did, oh yes, but he said to me, John, he said, I don't mind if you go away today because we're doing reasonably well this month, and he said, you can go. So I said, beauty.
Another one bites the dust.
You know, but he's a great boss.
Another one bites the dust.
We haven't all got bosses like that, but he's a good boss.
Another one bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Who's flying the plane exactly?
Well, what we did, we jammed a bit of stick in front of the joystick, and we've got a brick in the accelerator, and I hope it's going to fly pretty straight at the moment. It seems to be pretty straight now.
What I'd like to know is who's paying for these sickies? Who is paying for these sickies? Because Malcolm Fraser has told us to go back to work. No, well, he's told us too.
I thought I'd better mention him because not many people have got a boss like him.
We've still got the bit of wood jammed in the joystick though, and we've got the brick still in the accelerator, so we're keeping pretty well level.
The sunshine never ends, it's one big holiday. Come on, come out to play. Share Queensland with a friend. When you do, you will again. It's got so much to say. Come on, come out to play. Share Queensland with a friend. Where the sunshine never ends, it's one big holiday. Come on, come out.
And I think a lot of people are going to have to take a sickie to get over the sickie. We'll be back with some young people who don't ever want to take a sickie in their lives now that they've got a job.
More than 400 Queenslanders did not bother going to work yesterday. They took a sickie. Some of them had a doctor's note. Some of them had a pink slip from their boss when they got back. You could say it was one of those ultimate sickies, a decidedly friendly flight right around Queensland by Jumbo Jet. Now this story comes from Brian Anderson, who also did not turn up for work yesterday either.
The crew before the safety demonstration, Matt tells me, are quite au fait with the sickie bag. The bag contains a Queensland brochure so you know what state you're in. I've got a fair idea how you'll be at the end of the day. A Qantas pen. Are you finding it there? A Qantas pen for those who want to write themselves off.
The promise was that this would be no ordinary jumbo jet flight. Who else but radio madman Alan McGirvan could persuade more than 400 people to hand over $180 and take a sickie, the ultimate sickie, a 7-hour jaunt around Queensland on board the Qantas Jumbo City of Brisbane.
Hey, have a nice flight. Captain Davenport will have us off the ground to the sound of Share Queensland with a friend in just a minute or so.
Share Queensland with a friend. Where the sunshine never ends, it's one big holiday. Come on, come out to play. Share Queensland with a friend. Do you will again?
We're on our way. We'll be starting the bar service. The bar carts will be moving through the aircraft. Make sure you take a couple of drinks and straight away for you, and it'll fix your thirst up.
There were things to see along the way, the empty outback for one, but those on board were determined not to let the tourist bit interfere with what was rapidly becoming a very friendly party, 11 kilometres high. To heck with the fact that we should have been at work. Everyone gets sick now and then, don't they?
Are you sick? Are you genuinely sick?
Oh, definitely very ill.
Okay, what's the problem?
Well, bad case of overwork.
Bad case of?
Overwork.
Yes, I said yes. Yes. Fine. I believe that you've got terminal 4X, which is a bit of a problem here.
Oh yes, definitely.
You'd say that. Is it true that you were suffering from malnutrition?
Dehydration.
Dehydration. Yeah. Excuse me, sir. How are you enjoying the ultimate sickie?
Oh. Just passing over the back of where Mount Isa was originally situated. Because of the prevailing wind, it had to be situated on the other side of the mine at the railway line because they were poisoning everybody there. So the whole town was moved many years ago the other side. And it's some 2 or 3 miles up the road from where Campbell originally found the the minerals here.
From Mount Isa it was north towards Torres Strait and the unexpected. It seems that someone made a tiny mistake with the catering order and the bar ran dry. I mean, that must have been the reason. Who'd believe that Alan McGirvan and a few of his mates could drink a jumbo jet dry? So we settled back and took in the view. I think he calls it sharing Queensland with a friend.
That is the most northerly point of Australia. You'll see the beach that is a little bit to the western of it, side of it. That is now the most northerly point of Australia. Papua New Guinea border would only be some 40 miles or so from where we are now. So you can imagine the difficult political problems that have been here over the years with sorting out the ownership of the seabeds, etc. And below us now is the exact route that Captain Bligh, after the mutiny on the Bounty, travelled after he'd been ditched by Fletcher Christian and many others, and went for some weeks in a small boat. Very soon we'll come over the tip of Cape York again and Possession Island. Possession Island was where Captain James Cook unilaterally took possession of the whole eastern coast of Australia during his voyage in 1770. It was there that he landed, raised the English flag and declared the eastern coast of Australia as part of Her Majesty's territory.
It was around the top and back towards Brisbane. 5,600 kilometres in all, the same distance as Brisbane to Singapore. 868 meals were put away, and a jumbo jet load of liquor also disappeared somewhere along the way.
Oh, and one more thing that we should point out, if there are any bosses watching tonight that think they may have seen some of their employees on the flight, let me assure you that everybody here is a cardboard cutout. The real people are at home, sick in bed. You'd believe that, wouldn't you, Glenn?
No, I certainly wouldn't. But Brian did come in and he wasn't too wobbly at all today. I don't know what the Australian Minister for Productivity would say about Australian workers behaving like that, but it doesn't augur well for the rest of the country.